Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got an update for you on what's going on with the Ukraine war and Russia. All right, we're going to be talking about Avdiivka, this eastern town close to Donetsk that was unfortunately lost to the Russians. Okay, and in this video here, what you're seeing, this is not completely independently verified yet. But this is some information, like a video that was posted on Business Insider. And apparently, this is video footage of Ukraine shooting down one of Russia's jets. Okay, one of their fighter jets. Not sure which one yet, but we did have reports of, I believe, 4 separate Russian fighter jets that were shot down just over this weekend. And there was 3 that were shot down on Saturday inside of Ukraine, and one that was shot down as of today, Sunday. Okay, but obviously Ukraine is a little bit ahead of us, so this happened, I don't know, in the last 12 hours or so. So we're going to be talking about that, and also I've got an article here we're going to be going over as well, talking about this 60 billion aid package to Ukraine. Okay, so if you're not quite aware what's going on here, so Ukraine supposedly the part of the reason why they've lost Avdiivka is because they're running out of supplies. Okay, and there's a major aid package being held up in Congress, U.S. Congress right now, and $60 billion in aid is not going to Ukraine. It's being held up over many political issues. So the House is struggling to pass this aid bill. The Senate has already passed it, but the House so far has not. So they're not getting their money, okay? And Ukraine is very short on artillery shells, they've reported. I just put a video out on that just yesterday, I believe. And also, they don't have a lot of ammunition. And one thing they don't have right now is really air superiority, okay? So apparently, a large reason why Ukraine had to pull out of Avdiivka is because they didn't have air superiority. So they don't have fighter jets, and the Russians do. So Ukraine is just severely outmatched here, okay? Severely outnumbered, outgunned, low on ammunition, low on artillery shells, low on everything. They don't have a lot to really fight against the Russians right now. So this money being held up is a big deal, okay? So we're going to talk about a little bit real quick about these fighter jets that were shot down. Okay, so like you see here in this video, it looks like one of them getting shot down right there. So I got an article here. We're going to go into this real quick. So Ukraine shoots down 4 Russian fighter jets in the weekend kill streak, says Air Force chief. So here's a Sukhoi Su-34 fighter bomber. Okay, here's a picture of one right here. Ukraine says it shot down 4 Russian fighter jets on the Eastern Front this weekend. On Saturday, the commander of the Air Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Lieutenant General Mykola Oleshchuk, wrote on Telegram that units of the Air Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroyed 3 enemy aircraft at once, 2 Su-34 fighter bombers and 1 Su-35. So I think these were shot down on Saturday here. Okay, and then on Sunday, there was another Su-34 fighter bomber that was shot down Sunday morning, he said. Okay, so it is unclear what weaponry Ukraine forces used to down the 4 Russian fighter jets. The Su-34 is Russian Air Force's best fighter bomber, Forbes reported, and costs $50 million each. The Su-35 has a top speed of 1,485 miles per hour and a bomb load of over 17,000 pounds. Footage circulating widely on social media was said to show the latest Russian fighter being shot down. Business Insider could not independently verify the video. So this is the video that I was just showing you right here. So I just want to note here, if these are $50 million each, roughly, right? What is that? If there were 4 of them were shot down, so like $200 million in equipment that Russia just lost by having those shot down. So think about that and all the tanks that they've lost. And man, they were spending a crazy amount of money on this war. And it's amazing, you know, the only reason they're able to stay in this war is because of all the oil that they're exporting around the world. Okay, their oil and gas industry has really boomed here over the last few years. especially at the start of the pandemic when oil started to really rise. So, obviously they're able to stay in this fight because of it. But man, $200 million loss. That's a pretty big hit, along with all these ships that have been taken out. These warships, like Ukraine has taken out several of them already. Okay, they claim that supposedly 1/3 of their Black Sea fleet has been taken out. Not sure if that's actually true, if that really is 1/3, but apparently they're inflicting some pretty heavy losses here against the Russians. Okay, and then there was also that $350 million spy plane that was shot down recently. So anyway, let's talk about this here. So Russia raises its flag in Avdiivka, then presses the advantage on vulnerable Ukraine. So we're going to talk about Avdiivka, this major town next to Donetsk that just unfortunately fell recently over the last day or two. Okay, so here's a picture of the Russians setting up a flag, the Russian flag here inside of Avdiivka. Russian flag has been raised in several parts of the eastern town of Avdiivka and Donetsk, hours after Ukrainian forces beat a hasty retreat from the ruins of the town they've been defending for a decade. But Ukraine's army is under pressure at several other points along the front line that meanders for some 1,000 kilometers from the border with Russia, in the north to the Black Sea. The Russian military may have sensed a window of vulnerability in its adversary. Ukraine's better units are exhausted after 2 years of combat. There is a new commander-in-chief, Oleksandr Syrsky, and Ukrainian troops are short of shells and vulnerable to relentless airstrikes. So see here, first of all, they're exhausted, okay, and I believe they really are. I don't think that's just Western propaganda. I think they really are exhausted because they've been fighting this war for 2 years now. A large majority of their senior fighters have already been killed. So many of these troops that are fighting in Ukraine are many of them are elderly. First of all, very elderly population. Okay, majority of the young men inside of Ukraine have been wiped out already. So their majority of these fighters are older. They're elderly men. Okay, so they're short on shells, as it says here, and vulnerable to relentless airstrikes. While the goal of President Volodymyr Zelensky and the armed forces is to recover all illegal occupied territory, the Ukrainians are now struggling to prevent the Russians from adding to the approximately 18% of Ukrainian territory they already hold. President Vladimir Putin declared aim is to seize all of the eastern regions of Luhansk and Donetsk, but few believe he will stop there if there are further opportunities. I mean, obviously he already took Avdiivka, right? That's further west. Okay, so more than likely, I really think that Putin is going to take advantage of this opportunity, and he's going to want to try to push further into Ukraine and take more territory while they can. The Russians launched a determined drive to seize Avdiivka in October, but they are also on the attack near Bakhmut and Marinka, also in Donetsk, and towards Kupiansk in the north. On the southern front in Zaporizhia, Russian and Ukrainian sources speak of a massive Russian buildup in the area where the Ukrainians tried to launch their counteroffensive last summer. According to some analysts, a force of 50,000 men have been assembled. So that's near Zaporizhia down here. Let's see if we can get in here a little bit closer. One moment. Oh, I think that's going to be able to close where we can get. But Zaporizhia is right here. Okay. So they're probably talking somewhere in this area down here that the Russians are really massing troops and preparing to attack. So definitely the Ukrainians, they're struggling in this war right now, okay? And they're probably going to continue to be pushed back here. The Russians are going to keep pushing them because they're seizing this opportunity here while the Ukrainians are weak and while they're not getting aid from Russia, okay? I just put out a video the other day. I showed you guys a clip from Vladimir Putin. You know, he was speaking at a conference back in October, and during that conference, he said, wait till the point where the Ukrainians are not getting, as much help from the West anymore. The West exhausts their funds. They exhaust their weapons. Ukraine will collapse within a week. Okay. They will run out of ammunition. They will run out of supplies, and they will collapse within a week. Well, that's already happening right now. Okay. Ukraine is already falling apart. There's lots of reports coming out that the Russians are pushing them on all sides. They're having to fall back to defensive positions. It's already beginning right now. Will it happen within a week? I think it may take longer than that, obviously, because Ukraine may still have some sort of supplies. They probably don't have a lot. They're very limited, but they still have some supplies, right? So this is going to get really bad for Ukraine if the West does not step in here and give them this aid. So Biden is confident on 60 billion Ukraine war aid package vote. So apparently he believes that Congress is going to be able to pass this aid package. I saw a news article. I think it was Liz Cheney. I think she's Congresswoman Liz Cheney. She was coming out and saying that she thinks that Speaker Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, should lose his status, lose his position and power as Speaker over this Ukraine bill if it doesn't get passed. So obviously, Speaker Johnson is taking a lot of heat right now because he's the one that's holding a lot of this up as well. He said many times that if we don't get funding for the border issues and the problems here in the country, that needs to come first. That they will not pass this, and that the bill would come in dead on arrival. All these different things, right? So this money is at the moment it's being held up. Okay, it's being held up and it's not moving anywhere. And Ukraine is desperately needing this money and the aid. So we'll just kind of briefly go over this real quick, and then we'll wrap this video up. So U.S. President Joe Biden has assured his Ukrainian counterpart that $60 billion in military aid is on its way. The measure still needs to pass a final congressional vote, but Mr. Biden told Vladimir Zelensky that he was confident it would be approved. Mr. Zelensky had earlier made an urgent appeal for more weapons to avoid a catastrophic situation in Europe. The U.S. has blamed Ukraine's withdrawal from the Battle of Avdiivka on a lack of congressional support. Taking Avdiivka, a gateway to the Russian seas, Donetsk regional capital in the east, is Russia's first notable gain. They seized nearby Bakhmut in May. Ukraine's military was forced to withdraw from Avdiivka after Ukrainian forces had to ration ammunition due to dwindling supplies as a result of congressional inaction. White House statement read. So see again, here it is. So dwindling supplies, rationing ammunition, no artillery shells. Okay, I just put out an article yesterday, or a video yesterday, talking about an article stating that they had no artillery shells left inside of Avdiivka, that Avdiivka was going to fall. And then look, 24 hours later, it fell. Okay, so this is really bad for Ukraine. Okay, very, very bad that they're not getting any support, and they're going to be in big trouble here. If we go even just another month and this aid package does not get passed, or maybe somehow it fails. Let's say it fails. Let's say worst case scenario completely fails and they're not able to pass it at all. This is going to look really bad for Ukraine, and Russia's Russia's really going to be pushing in to take advantage of this opportunity to move on a collapsed Ukraine. Okay. So this is gonna get crazy here, okay? If this money does not get passed, this is a really big deal here, and they need to pass this aid very quickly, because if not, Ukraine is gonna get run over here, okay? So we'll have to see what's gonna happen if this aid gets passed. But in the meantime, Ukraine's still trying to do the best they can to put up a fight. They unfortunately had to pull out of Avdiivka because it's completely lost. But I believe there's still a few fighters that are left in Avdiivka still fighting the Russians. So it's crazy what's happening here over in Eastern Europe. This war is still going on. We're about to approach the 2-year mark, okay? And then just in about a month from now, we have elections in Russia, and Vladimir Putin is supposedly going to win that again, but we'll see. More than likely, he's going to win the presidency again. But that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. So I appreciate you hanging out with me again today. I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Everybody take care. God bless. We'll see you later.